today. Please, all our members and all our listeners, welcome Miss Sheri Jefferson.
Welcome.
Thank you, Tony.
You are welcome.
I need to take you with me to be my hype man.
Listen, we can make it happen.
He's certainly the king of the intros.
On the check, as long as that check clear, we're good.
King of the
intros. But today, we wanna definitely enlighten us, our members and our listeners, and we always like to start off with every podcast with the live question, and that live question is always the simple but very effective. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
This, when people ask me this, to me, this is the most difficult question. And it's probably because I don't like talking about myself. So it makes me a little uncomfortable. So it's gonna be short and sweet. So I'm a mother, grandmother, and a business owner, business coach and facilitator and consultant. I value genuine relationships, and I love to help people. And I'm also retired from the military.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, very few words, but I tell you what, that was information packed right there.
In the words of the Jizza, that was half as long, twice as strong.
I mean, like that threw me for a curveball. Like, what am I gonna go after that? Like, no. I thought, she's gonna give me like a nice long answer. Nope, she said both, but I know everything. But hey, listen, that says it all. Yes. So as far as business ownership, tell us a little bit about the business that you own.
Okay, my business is Sheri Jefferson Associates, and it's a boutique accounting firm that I actually started during COVID. We provide CFO services, bookkeeping, setup, and cleanup services to small and mid-sized businesses. We also provide coaching and consulting services. I also created a financial literacy course for college students and career path students.
Tell us a little bit about that, the college course and the career path students.
Okay, the financial literacy course for college students is geared directly toward college students. And what I mean by that is things that affect college students while they're in college and what will affect them after college. For instance, my background is also higher education. I'm a higher education consultant as well. And through my time working in higher ed, what I found is a lot of times students don't succeed because they can't, but because they don't know. And one of the attributes that we test in order for students to be eligible for federal student aid is satisfactory academic progress. They have to be making a certain progress in order to maintain their financial aid. But that can financially affect the student. So what I did was I geared all of those teaching points, retention, default management, satisfactory academic progress, around my financial literacy program. So they can understand is if you don't stay in school and graduate, you still have these loans to pay back. What impact is that going to have on you? So that's how I packaged it, financial literacy course for college students. And for the career path students, because everybody is not going to go to college. So at the same time, I would like to touch them to let them understand the impact that they have on as far as they're managing their finances as they go into their jobs or trade or whatever they decide to do.
Man, so let me ask you a question. When you said that and you're talking about normal circumstances, they have to maintain, like you're saying, you're identifying one of the problems, like when you're saying that they had to maintain a certain score average to maintain the financial aid, I guess?
Right, they have to be making a certain progress as far as their GPA and the number of hours that they earn. So I'm gonna give you an example. For instance, if I'm in school and I may take 12 hours, but I may only pass 5 hours, they may be in a danger of not getting financial aid based on the policy for the school. So my thing is, you're not gonna graduate at that pace and you've already taken out loans. What financial impact is that gonna have on you if you don't graduate, right? So then when you don't graduate, you can't get the jobs you could possibly get after you graduate. Now you gotta change course.
Right.
So I want them to understand the impact of the decisions they make while they're in college, how it's going to affect them long term when they get out. Because as we look at it, everything we deal with is financial. Everything in life, decisions we make, financial.
Yeah.
You know, so I want them to understand, if you're in college, we want you to be successful so you can go and get the job that you want to get, because you're in college for a reason. And so that's why it's a win-win for the colleges and for the students, because you rather the students stay in school and graduate as opposed to come, drop out, or even transfer. So all that's packaged into that financial literacy program.
Man,
Wow,
so
that's an interesting niche. Like I've never heard of that before. That's certainly a unique niche.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Now let's backtrack a little bit, because I know you come from like a small town originally. Tell us how that maybe shape help shape or maybe helps make some of the decisions on where you took your life to, because in the small towns, a lot of times we become statistics. So how did how did that journey help elevate you out of that?
What you talking about, the big city of Hightstown?
Yeah, small town.
The big city of Hightstown.
What? The big city of Hightstown? What? but I think for one, my mom had a big impact on how I think, and has shaped me to being the person I am, because of the decisions she made when we were young. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a lot, but whatever we had, it has impacted our lives. Mm-hmm. And so with Hightstown, I was originally in Cranberry, New Jersey, and then we went to high school in Hightstown. And I think with the small towns, it creates a sense of community. Mm-hmm. Because in most instances, everybody knows everybody. Like in Hightstown, we all knew each other. So I can see now that it has helped me shape how I value relationships. So relationships are very important. I have a small circle, but those are the people that I want in my circle, because oftentimes you want to have all these people, but I want to create genuine relationships. And I think having that small town community type thing is one of the things that helped me shape that, how I deal with people.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree, because like even if you don't, especially in small towns, even if you don't hang with them all the time, there's still that, like you said, there's still that sense of community. There's still just that love from just being from that small town.
Right. Yeah, and we all knew each other, like you said. We go to Hightstown and we say, oh, there's so. So
definitely, yeah, right. Because school was big, but it's not right. We're not that big.
Well, the school was big, Tony, but it wasn't a whole lot of us.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You said it. You went right to it. I just, I'm trying to sugarcoat it. I'm trying to step around it.
No. It wasn't a whole lot of us now.
No, what? There was like 2 tables. It was like they were saying to her, you sitting at the
we
table.
We had our table at the same table all the time.
There was 2 tables.
Our section.
Sitting at the table. It was like 3 tables over there, 3 tables over there. That was
exactly.
That was it.
I probably was back there beating on the tables, making the raps back in the day.
That's funny. That's funny. Now, you did touch on it. You did touch on it previously, like about your education, and you were, in higher education. Now, just for, do you feel that education, has helped your business, right? And do you feel it is necessary to go to college to be in business?
That's a great question.
Okay, so, and this may sound strange for me, having a background in higher education, over 25 years, do financial aid consulting, do higher ed consulting. The short answer is no.
Right.
I have a degree in accounting.
Right.
And I have a master's degree. I think since now I just completed a certificate program in forensic accounting and fraud examination. So my undergrad.
What's the fraud examination?
Yeah, forensic accounting and fraud examination.
So like, what's that about?
So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna take an exam to become a certified fraud examiner, and it's broad. But what I want to do
insurance fraud or
what you can do in that field. So I want to add that to another arm for my accounting business. And I really want to work with attorneys that are high power attorneys that have these $1 million divorces. And I can do research to see where people hide their money.
Wow. I mean, that's a whole, like, you just opened a whole other can of words here, Sheri.
Man, because when she said forensic accounting, I knew that was different. I said, that's just not normal accounting right there.
That's a little digging. That's a little digging when they say, oh, I don't have.
Okay, like, okay. But
I mean, so then the attorney will hire me to do the research. And because if you all will listen to the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, how they have
that's
so it's the same thing.
Like that. That's pretty cool. That's, I mean, first of all, who didn't think of that? Like, but because I know I wouldn't, you know what I mean?
I think all of everything she says so far is very unique, and they're like niches, like I never heard of them before. So.
Well, you were saying before though, I did interrupt you, but you said before, do you feel that they're going to school to help you though?
Well, I was I said all that to say I started an accounting business, and my undergrad degree is in accounting, but I didn't take accounting to go into business. So I really took it because I wanted to go to school, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to major in, so I just picked accounting. So it wasn't like I planned to have a career in accounting. It's just so because I started my business in 2020. Right. Through the years, I've done various things with accounting, but not accounting type work.
Right.
So my answer is, I guess in a roundabout way, it does have its advantages, but it wasn't the plan.
I got you.
So I said that to say I don't think I don't think people need to go to college to start a business. I don't even think that people need to go to college if that's not what they want to go to. They want to do, because college is not the end all be all.
Right.
There's so many other opportunities out there for people if they don't go to college.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think we're like, just in different times, like, we were younger, it was, college, school. I don't disagree with that. I definitely feel, certainly get education is important, but like you said, it's, every college isn't for everybody.
Right.
And I think the quicker you recognize that, if it is, man, go for it. Go as far as you can go, because the relationships that you might get at some of these institutions might bear fruit, years down the road. So, but if you're not, to me, right, I think you got to make that decision. And I think there's so many things out there. At the end of the day, degree, I think a lot of it just comes to your desire, what you want, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, the work that you're trying to put in, the hard work,
right. Because I have two boys, and I mean, that was always an option. You go to college, you go to military, get a job, do something to get out of my house, whatever it is, whatever you choose to do. But they both went, but neither one of them wanted to be there. Right. So me, from having a background in higher education, I was like, okay, you're not wasting any more money. Go ahead and cut your losses now before you have all this debt and you don't have a college degree. So they didn't. They're good with no debt now. So that's why it's all up to the person. And my thing is, I have a degree, but I didn't tell my kids like, oh, you just got to go to college, because I don't believe that.
Right. I got you. That's dope. So let me ask you, what differentiates your company, Jefferson Associates, from other companies that may offer similar services?
You just said it, Jefferson. No. Jefferson is what separates us. Look.
Right. This said we talk about you, right?
But my company is all about relationships, like we were talking about before. I'm really big on relationships, and there is nothing cookie cutter about my company, because we tailor all of our service to fit our customers, our clients' needs. Because it's not about getting clients, it's about taking care of the people and helping them achieve their financial goals. for their business and their personal lives,
Right.
the clients will come. So I think that personal care that I have with my clients, and I say, just like we're talking, that's how I talk to them, is oftentimes really raw, because when you're talking about your finances, that's a little touchy. So, I think that's where how my services are tailored for the clients, and the relationships that I want to maintain with my clients, because anybody that I work with, I don't want to be a one-time thing. I want to be able to continually work with them, or even as a referral source. So that's what I think is the main difference.
Well said. That's dope. Man, so that, I mean, well, like that was, I mean, sheesh. But let me ask you, what do you find it? Because just when I was listening, this question came to my mind. So do you find it easier or harder to to provide these services to people that you know, maybe family and friends, or strangers?
They're one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find either one of them being difficult. I've worked with some of my family members, and I treat them the same as I treat my regular clients. It's not family, it's business. So I don't see a difference in them, because I treat them the same as my clients that are strangers.
Right. Or do you find like your family or your friends, maybe close friends, that they're more hesitant to discuss their financial matters with someone that they may have a relationship with? Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, no, and it could be the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's always a no judgment zone. So I try to make people as comfortable as possible. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the conversation is about, you need to do it. Mm-hmm. So we might as well go ahead and peel back the onion, mm-hmm. and go ahead and get it done. So I think the approach that I use, mm-hmm. I don't think is uncomfortable. I haven't had any issues around that, because I know it's a difficult conversation, but it's a no judgment zone, and we're just trying to get them clarity and to make the right financial decisions.
Cool. That brings me to you said the word, that brings me to my next question. In following you, right, and researching you a little bit, right, I saw that you said something, that you mentioned that you are a financial clarity strategist and profit magnet. Explain to our members and our listeners that, please.
Okay, so
break it down in layman's terms.
So I help small to mid-sized businesses to get clarity in their business finance, so they can realize sustainable growth and massive profits in their business. Mm-hmm. And so what I'll do, I'll break it down with two of my services. Mm-hmm. So my CFO services, in which that means for your audience, is Chief Financial Officer, right, and bookkeeping services. Okay. So what I do for a company, for my CFO service, so a company going to sustain their growth, their finances must be in order. So when finances are difficult to talk about, like we were saying early, especially if you don't understand the finances, and if you're not tracking your finances, it's difficult to have that conversation, because you don't want people, you're in business, you don't want people to think that you're not doing what you need to do. So like I said, I don't make any, I make the conversation easy, and to help them make those decisions. So I use financial clarity strategies, because that's what I'm doing for them. I'm giving them clarity in understand their finances. We talk about budgets. We talk about revenue. We talk about cash flow. We talk about expenses. We talk about income. We talk about all of that, because some of it is foreign to some people. Some businesses don't have a budget, and I let them know why it's so important to have those things in order to have a profitable company. And a profit magnet comes in. Once you do everything I tell you to do, the money's going to come.
Man, I think that's dynamic, because when you said the clarity, it just made me think of understanding. Mm-hmm. So it helps them understand their finances through strategies. And, when I think of that, I just say, wow, a lot of us do lack that understanding. based off of not having the knowledge or not being around other people who are wiser than them that can teach them to help develop that understanding of their finances. So I think that's, certainly empowering.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. And I think that, right, then when you know that you need that, you need to know your numbers if you're trying to, in anything, in any business, and I mean, anything, what are you talking sale? I mean, you're talking, whatever, you're talking baseball, you're talking basketball. I mean, it's coming down, everything pretty much is coming down to numbers. Right. People talk about analytics, but analytics it's been around since forever. It's just now they've learned how to, further quantify it, or, further, like kind of, drill down with it, but it's always been there. We've always based a lot of decisions off the numbers.
Some people base their decisions, if I may, off of misunderstanding the numbers versus whether they understand the numbers. So I think what you're saying is 100% and that's why correct. They got the clarity. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why soon as the clarity, it just made me think of understanding. Like that's the connection I made in my mind.
That's why they got the clarity.
Right. Yeah, so you're right in the sense that these numbers are, numbers don't lie, they go back, but how many of us really understand the numbers? Right. And that way they can put the right implementations, which is the strategies, in place. And some of us, man, we just need to hire professionals like me, somebody like me. I'll be honest with you.
And I'm gonna piggyback on what you and Winston. I'm gonna piggyback on what you and Winston just said. Right. And I'm gonna piggyback what you and Tony just said, because I equate that to your vitals. When you go to the doctor, you want to know what your blood pressure is. You want to know what your heart rate is. You want to know those numbers, because if something's off, you want to make the adjustments to get it back on track. It's the same thing with your business. Why are we so scared to find out about our numbers when our business is on life support? So that's why I use that as a reference, because it's so important to know your business numbers, and that way you're able to make those adjustments. You're able to put things in place to correct it, so you can have a business. Because my goal is just to help as many people create generational wealth, and I'm talking about the generational wealth that comes from the Rockefellers, from the Waltons, from Gucci, from Louis Vuitton. That kind of generational wealth, that those people have been long gone, but their families are still reaping the benefits for what they put in. So those are the kind of businesses I'm trying to help build.
And what type of customers do you, or what type of clients do you typically work with? Do you is it broad, or do you try a niche market?
Well, they say you should have a niche, but I get different types of people. I work with small business to mid-sized businesses. The CFO services is a little more costly, so those are really geared toward $500,000 to $5 million businesses. But the bookkeeping setup and cleanup, small businesses, startups are good too, because they're just beginning, and to get them on that ground floor. But as far as who I serve, it's across the board.
And let me ask you a question now. So what do you, in your opinion, why do you now? Because listen, getting into business is tough, and the numbers are astronomical. The 5, 10, 15 year model of business failure. But particularly, why do you think minorities fail in business at such a high rate?
I think knowledge. I think not understand, because what I have realized is that we know how to start businesses, but how to grow and maintain those businesses, because I think it's a lack of knowledge. Oftentimes, either money, depends on what you want to do. Some things you can start up. I've never seen anybody start up anything with zero money. I don't care if it's $10. I've never seen that happen. So even when starting your business, you need to put some money in a service business, product business, whatever it is. And I think often, and if you want something on a larger scale, you may have to get a loan. We don't really talk about business loans. In the Black community, We don't talk Latino community, perhaps. We don't talk about those things that we need to talk about when it comes to running a business. So I think that's one reason why I think Black businesses fail, because we're not in those rooms to have those conversations about having investment for your business, getting insurance on, if you have a business, a big business, getting insurance on a key owner in the business. How do you get business loans? How do you build business credit? All of those things impact our survival in business.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Now, now with the now, and let me ask you, with the with the rising costs and inflation, I mean, the food price is up, gas price is up, the cost of living is up. I mean, rent is through the roof. Houses are through the roof. How do you factor that in when you're sitting down with a client, today, as opposed to maybe 12 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you factor that into their strategy? Like, do you help them maybe find money where it's not at? How do you how do you like approach that? Because I know now it's like times a lot tougher, obviously.
Right. I'm gonna throw a little Bible at you and Winston. As the Bible talks about feast or famine, there are going to be times of feasting and there are going to be times of famine. We have to prepare for both. So when it's plenty and you're feasting, you need to make sure that you have money saved, put away for those times when it starts to get lean. Because when it starts to get lean, then that's going to affect your clients as well. And depending on what type of business you have, if you're in construction, the supplies may be limited. The supplies are definitely going to go up. So you have to prepare for those all through your business, particularly when you are in those feasting seasons. And I think oftentimes we don't prepare. So the things we're going through now are not separate and apart from business in your personal life. You know what I'm saying? So when we're making a lot of money personally, if you didn't have a business, that's the time when you need to, okay, let me put that aside. Let me put that aside, because there's going to come a time when that money may not become as easily, because these cycles that we go through these things all the time. And we just have to prepare for those times when it's a little lean. So I have these conversations with my clients all the time about having an emergency savings account for your business, have a regular savings account for your business, putting things aside, pay yourself, put some in the savings. So it's important to do those things particularly when business is going really well, for when those times when it's not going as well because of things like this in the economy, because those things we can't change. So when things are going around in the economy, you still need to make sure your business stay on track, because there's always going to be an upside.
Yeah, right. Stack while you're high.
That's just like the nature of business.
Right, stack while you're high, so you have while you're low.
Yeah, and these times, I think too is, like I said, I had to throw a little Bible at y'all, but I think too,
the perfect analogies. Your analogies are like A+. We'll give you the
I think too is important.
Top guess with the analogy.
It's important too for us not to panic during these times, because like I said, that it goes up and down all the time. That's just how the economy works. I said, we can blame whoever we want to blame. I said, but in the whole scheme of things, the market goes by things that happen. If somebody says something crazy in the market, the market's going to go crazy. Yeah, so, they talk about a recession. Right, because they talk about a recession. We're actually in a recession now. It's just, people just ain't feeling it yet. Right. But so it's those times when you, when you just want to put the money aside. You can do those fun things, because I always say reward yourself. But at the same time, you need to put some stuff away.
Yeah. That's well said. This is a question, and then I'm going to turn it over to my buddy Winston. But one question I know a lot of listeners, a lot of members, are starting to think about, with the EIDL loan. Most businesses, most business owners, are coming up on that time where payments may start to commence. What are your thoughts on this, and if so, if in fact business owners do have to pay this money back, how do you feel it impact businesses?
Well, I hope, like we were saying before about the feast and the famine, During COVID, a lot of money was, thrown out in the economy to help small businesses, but that's a whole different conversation. I just hope that when they, because like you said, the money has to be repaid. So I just hope that when they got the money, they got it in an amount that they can afford to pay back. Because I know at that time, okay, if somebody said, oh, let me get $100,000, but you can only pay back 10,000, you're going to be struggling going forward, particularly if we're going to go into a recession. You know what I'm saying? So we have to make smart business decisions. I know the money was out there and some folk need the money. Some people may not have any money, but since the money was out there, I'm going to take the money. So I just hope that they made the right decisions for their business where that won't be a hindrance and possibly a reason why they end up not making it.
Wow. And I think that was just a great answer. And if I could or would, I just want to kind of go back to that previous question that he asked. And when you were speaking about preparedness for the feast and the famine, and I just didn't want that to kind of our members to not really capture that, because she's been, Miss Sheri Jefferson, you've been saying some great words that's just been sticking out to me, like clarity and preparedness. And I think that's a part of what eludes us as, the Black Latino community as well, is that preparedness. I think some of us, maybe get impatient and move a little too fast, or get hesitant and then move too slow. But I just think that I just wanted the members to realize that being a business owner is about preparing, and, for the worst and preparing for the best. Like sometimes you just kind of hear, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. But I kind of got what Sheri was saying, was like, you just need to be prepared for the feast and the famine. Because a lot of times, and I'll be honest, I've been guilty of this before.
We all have.
When the feast,
exactly.
When the business, you've been guilty of it.
Man. When the feast comes,
you're not the only one.
You almost feel like money grows on the tree, and we don't prepare off the sugar high off of the feast.
But if you look at it, right. And like I said, it's cyclical. So the feast is gonna come, the famine is gonna come, the feast is gonna come. So it's gonna be an up and it's gonna be a down. And I look at too, as I was thinking when you was talking, I look at, if you ever pay attention to how things move in the economy when things are bad, I go back to when the housing market crashed in around the 2008 time period.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is that people were still building. People were still, so those are the people that put their money aside for times like this.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So like they're saying, like the housing market may crash and stuff. I don't know if it is or it's not going to.
Yeah.
But if you're into investing in real estate, like I am, you need to start preparing now just in case that happens. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times we miss opportunities because we're not prepared. And a lot of times we're not prepared because of the insecurities or not wanting to be exposed or those kind of negative type things. But that's keeping us from our purpose because we're not going to be prepared because we don't know what to do. We don't know how to go about it. So us being prepared, particularly in our communities, and understanding about finances, and I don't do anything on like personal type finances, more on the business side of it. But at the same time, even on the personal finance side, we as in the Black community, in the Latino community, we have to talk more and be more open about finances, about building credit, about things like that. So when opportunities come up, we are able to jump on those opportunities. Like I said earlier, it's all about building generational wealth. It's all about generational wealth. I can't be mad at the Rockefellers and the Gucci's if that's what they did. My thing is, what is Sheri Jefferson going to do for her family, for her lineage, which she has her great grandchildren, years from now
That's
saying,
right.
my grandmother built this, you know?
Right.
So that's the thing that we need to focus on now is preparing ourselves, preparing our children to be able to survive and financially, because one thing that I've noticed for me, when I ain't got no money, I ain't the happiest person. When I know I got some money in my pocket, I'm a whole different person. And that gives you a different continence when you actually have money. I've been broke before. Broke ain't pretty. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, I don't. I've been there. I don't want to co-sign on that one. So my thing is to empower other people to change their mindset on how they view money. I heard this guy say about he said he had this friend. Now she'll talk to him about the boyfriend, this and that. But when it's time to talk about your finances, oh, that's personal. But the other stuff is open book.
Right, it's open book. Right. But what's going to affect your life is this financial conversation.
Exactly.
That other conversation.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
that's
like
right.
You're saying, it's about switching that mindset, and that's kind of the hardest part. But that's what makes us warriors in this cause, and people like us that, you know, we are necessary. And once again, you're just another guest, Sheri, that, you know, put helping people over profit. You know, it seems like everybody that Sos and I know and within our network that we speak to, you know, they are definitely for the people. You know, they're definitely, because, you know, with the degrees that you have and the life that you lived and the way you're so well articulated and situated, you could probably just say, you know what, I'm gonna go over here, do Sheri Jefferson, forget everybody else, go make my $2-3 million, and then that's it. But, you know, it takes a special type of person to say, I'm going to take the knowledge that I have and I'm going to help the common person. I'm going to help people that look like me, and, you know, people who are or may not have the same opportunities that you may have had. So I think that's dope. And I definitely tip my hat off to you. And I know I probably could speak for Sos and I both on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Thank you, Winston. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think when you're, you know, I think, when you put other people ahead of you, listen, the sales are going to come. But what I like what Sheri said is, you know, it's not, you know, she's like in the ilk of, you know, what, you know, what I believe in. It always believed in business. And what, like you said, a lot of people in our circle believe in that, you know, it's about the customer or the client. And then, you know, once you make it about them first, money's going to come. You know what I mean? Right. Money, it's going to come. But I think so when she said that, she's about relationships was like a big word that she said. And I think that, you know, I think when you have that, you know, that's always a recipe for, you know, for success, because it's not, you know, it's not individually. Basically, we all want to make money.
Right.
But the jewel is showing other people how to, you know, making money for yourself and helping other people make money.
I was telling this one girl before, I was like, I have a lot of other things, because this year was investing in myself. So I'm in a lot of different programs and just trying to make myself better for my clients and for myself. And I was telling her, well, I'm not going to do your program right now. Let me get some of this other stuff. She's like, no, I really want you to be. And I said, okay, so we're going to have to come up with some kind of deal. So she was like, no, she was going to cut her program for me by like 75%. Right. And I said, no, I'm going to pay you what your program is. I said, because nobody have to starve for somebody else to eat. We're all going to eat. You know, so it is real important to see. That's why I said I don't haggle people over their prices, because the price either I'm gonna pay or I'm not gonna pay. So, but I understand, because everybody's in this business to make money, and I think the more I give, the more comes back to me. So we all gonna eat.
I think to me that's one of the best business lessons I ever learned in business for myself was, you know, setting your price, man. You gotta, you know, and someone told me this one time and it stuck with me, told me this years ago. And he said, listen, man, you got to put your price, because you don't want to get a job. Okay. You're taking the money, but then you're not happy. You're mad that you took that job. So you don't ever want to be in that position, man. You set your price and you make people meet your price. And that was one of the best advice I ever got, to be honest.
Your price is your price.
That's it. That's it.
Yep. All right. Well, Sheri, like Sosa was saying earlier, we were preparing for this great interview and some research took place. And I think that, that you're involved with several or various events. Are you an event planner? And if so, what is like some of the descriptions of an event planner versus like a event organizer,
Okay. So no, Winston, I'm not an event planner. That's my niece.
Okay.
My niece in Vegas. She's the event planner in the family.
Okay.
Yeah, I just plan my own events, and this one that I'm having that's coming up is my first one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's good. You always got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Right. So you say, hey, I'm gonna start with myself. I take this to the next level. Guess what? You're going to wind up being a event clarity strategist.
To the services.
She's going to be an event clarity strategist next once she perfects it. All right, so I'll keep my questions was more based around events, so I'll kind of keep it, I guess, versus like event planning, but maybe more personal to yourself as far as the events.
But maybe she could tell us a little bit about that event.
Maybe she
could tell us a little bit about that event that's going on because it's coming up, rather soon, a couple of weeks or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Next weekend.
Oh, next weekend. See that?
Yeah, it's that's my first event, and it's called
absolutely.
I am. It's called Money Flowing, and it's going to be on October 8th. I'm going to have it in person and virtual. So it's going to be an interactive workshop where we'll be creating budgets, reviewing financial statements such as income statements, balance sheets, and doing a whole lot more. We'll talk about a little bit about taxes. And I just want to empower business owners to take control of their finances. And I think this interactive workshop will give them the clarity that they need to order to create their budgets and get the work done.
That's not cool. Now, is it yourself? Is it just you, or is it other people there? Or?
It is just me.
Okay, one man show. Right. Let's go.
So let me ask you a question, Sheri, because that's interesting. With a couple years ago, in the midst of the pandemic, events, were very, not even really happening. And now I heard you say that your events, at one point in time, events were like all in person prior to it being virtual. Do you see benefit in events now that you can make them personal and virtual and kind of get the best of both worlds? Or do you just prefer like maybe just, in-person events?
Right. I think online, virtual and in person, I think when I do another one, I think it will always be like that because with social media, you've impacted people all over. Right. So if I know somebody that's following me, say in Ohio, but they're not going to come to South Carolina for an event, they can still catch the event online. So I think your reach is further when you include the virtual space. And I think after COVID, I don't think that space is going to go away. So I don't want to limit people that may be interested in coming to an event because it's in person.
Well, let me ask you this then. When, even with business, there's planning, there's strategies and tactics. Do you feel it's the same thing with like your events, or even though this is your first event, and I hope there's many events to come thereafter, but do you apply like the same type of mindset, like the planning and the strategies and tactics that you apply to business? Do you also apply that to like events? If you would share that with our members.
Yes. Yes, I do the same thing because even with my events, it's still business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the same thing with budgets and things like that. When I talk to them about budgets, if somebody said, oh, well, I want to have an event. Okay, we need to include that in the budget because even putting on events is not inexpensive. So those are the same things that you need to work into your plan when you're at the beginning of the year, whenever you review every 3 months, every 6 months, you need to work those things into your plan. So the same way that I strategize about my events is the same way that I would talk to my clients when we're strategizing what they're going to do for the upcoming months and years. You know, so it's the same process that I put into this, particularly because I want people to get leave with something, leave with something that they can implement in their business that day.
Wow, Sheri. I mean, you have some outstanding accolades, and like you said, you're doing a lot of things. One thing that I can work on is prioritizing my time. Do you have any tips for the members of the Entrepreneur Chamber? Mainly me.
Me too.
No, I'm just saying for all the members and the viewers of the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast, on maybe a few strategies on how to best prioritize your time, because sometimes that is the Achilles heel for
now,
people.
Winston, I got nothing for you. but I will share this. I will share this though, because I struggle with that too. But what I did was, and I'm still working on it, because that's a challenge, because all of us have more than one thing that we're working on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we really kind of divide our time.
Yeah.
One thing that I started doing, I sent it out to a group of my friends and my sister, my niece, and I titled it Millionaire Mornings. So what I do would get on a Zoom call for an hour from 5 to 6. And everybody is not talking. We're not doing it. Everybody's setting out what they're going to do for that hour. If you say, okay, I need to write my list of people I'm going to call today, or send out emails, whatever you're going to do for that hour, you go ahead and get that done and get it out the way. And then you can complain the rest of your day. So those are some of the kind of things that I put in place for myself in order to keep myself focused. Now, another thing that I did was, is this book called Atomic Habits, which is a phenomenal book. And that also, like, okay, I knew you was going to ask me that, and I should have did before I said it. I don't remember the man's name.
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. Yeah. And what he was saying is that we also have to have a cutoff time. Like if you have an office space in your home, then use it as your office space. In the living room, you watch TV. In the bedroom, you sleep. So I took my TV out of my bedroom, because what I noticed when I go in the bedroom, I don't really want to sleep, but I be looking at TV. So I removed my TV out of my room. So that's the place for that. So that's already programming me to be proactive in doing what I need to do.
Right.
So I'm getting my sleep, because ordinarily I'll be up looking at TV all night.
Right.
So when I leave out my office, work is done. Like I don't take work to the room. I don't do all of that. So I think putting those different things is changing your mindset, and you're getting conditioned. Okay. So now you're getting a system going. So I think that may help as well. Yes. But I think I struggle with that too, because it's like so many moving parts. But those are some things I put in place to kind of help me stay focused.
Definitely. I think with me, it's more just I got to do it. Even once I'm doing it, I'm great. I'm rocking. But to me, it's the actual first step. It's getting to that first step, right? So I gotta really It's like, and it's so bad. I don't know why. I know I gotta do it, and I'll procrastinate, and then once I'm doing it, boom. But it's just I think I've been trying to work on that. As far as the the routine, because I do feel and reading through some things that it's like you try to get a routine, but then it's staying on that routine.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And I think you both made excellent points. Like Sheri said, system. So you said routine. So for the members of the Entrepreneur Chamber and the viewers of the podcast, when you're talking about prioritizing your time and the different nuances to be a business owner and an entrepreneur, like these are just jewels that Miss Sheri Jefferson and Mr. Sosa is sharing with y'all that you're going to want to hold on to. So the systems, and just like he said, sometimes you got to just do it. Sometimes you can just get stuck so much in the prepared to do it, when you got to just say, you know what, I'm just going to do it.
Right.
And whether you do it and get started early, or you're the type that works well under pressure and can kind of wait till the 11th hour to do it. Some people thrive in that space, where in that space, it makes some people nervous. So I think those are excellent points.
Right.
You know, and Sheri, I mean, I don't have any other questions. I think you've been an excellent guest, and I think you answered our questions thoroughly. And yeah, I mean, so you have anything else you wanted to ask her?
I think this was an incredible episode. I think it was very informative. I think Sheri not only gave our viewers a lot of knowledge, you know, but also too, like, a lot of insight. I think she was very forthcoming. I like how open she was and how real she was. And when she said relation, you know, she talked a lot about relationships and being her business is built on relationships. I think that came through this, you know, this interview right here. Because I mean, and I'm not saying it out of bias, right? I'm saying it wholeheartedly from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, like, I felt connected when you were speaking, because you were very transparent. And it comes out. I think it came out. So I can see, and I know why you're successful, and I know why you're going to continue to be more successful in this endeavor, because you know, not only you have the credentials, you're believable, but you know, you care, and it comes.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yep, and it shows that you care. Like, just everything you were saying is, again, putting the relationships over profit. And I think what stuck out to me was certainly financial clarity. You know, that having that financial understanding.
She was a magnet too.
To know, yeah.
Profit magnet too. Don't forget
that's right. That's right. Profit magnet. So if you want to make yourself a profit magnet, then you need to reach out to Sheri Jefferson and Jefferson Associates, because she's going to give you some financial clarity and strategies to make you a profit magnet. And who doesn't want to be a profit magnet when you're in business?
Who don't want to be a pro? Come on, who don't want to be a
magnet? Yeah, I think that was excellent, Sheri. Excellent.
Thank you, Winston. I appreciate it.
Before we let you do your closing remarks, and you let all our listeners and members know how to get in contact with you, we have one last question. This is our question here. And we like to ask all our guests, and it's top 5. You can pick the category though. We normally go with entertainment, like sports or music or singers or rap albums, whatever. But you can pick the album. You've been so gracious today and dropped so many jewels that we're gonna let you pick the topic today.
Well, mine is probably gonna be so off from what you normally do.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. That's right.
I'm gonna do sports, but I'm gonna do track and field.
There we go.
Track and field. Let's go. That's
I'm gonna do track and field. That's why I said it's gonna be a little off. I'm gonna do track and field. So you want my 5 top people?
Yes, your 5 top people.
Okay, so this I follow track, and it's a lot of phenomenal people, but these young people that's coming up nowadays,
they flying out here.
They are phenomenal. Yes. So, okay, I got Noah Lyles.
Okay.
Who runs the 200. Delia Muhammad, she runs the high hurdles. She runs the 400 hurdles. Sydney McLaughlin, she runs the 400 hurdles. Athemo, she runs the 800, and I'll add in a football player, Marquise Goodwin.
Wait, Marquise Goodwin does track?
No, I said, well, he does track, but I said I'm gonna add a football player in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he actually ran track in college.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was nice in college.
Yeah, he was. Track, but I'm picking him on the football side of it.
Okay.
I just like him from what I've seen about him. I just like him as a person.
Okay, he's got a good story or something.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you need to read up on
to. I'm going to. I know you. I know you said one of the locals though.
Who, Sydney? Or a thing from Trenton.
Yeah.
A thing from Trenton.
Yep. Well, she's
a beast out there on that track.
She's a beast.
Yes.
So I take it you like hurdles though. That's like your favorite event, I would think.
No. The 400. But
400, half of the people were for the hurdle. 305.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I did high hurdles when they did some extra points, but I wasn't a high hurdle person, and I wasn't a 400-meter person. But look, it's funny with now Trenton has some runners, right? So whenever we ran against Trenton, I wasn't going to beat them in the 100, the 200, or the 4.
Right.
So I would be the second place for the hurdles, the 400 hurdles and the high hurdles, because I was always going to get second because they weren't good in the hurdles.
Dope, man. Dope.
But Trenton, they
but you know what? The track team was good. Was good too, though. The track team was good though, right? With Corrine, right?
Yeah,
Corrine, right?
That was our track team that won the Colonial Valley opening championship that year. Yeah, we had a really good track team that year.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
it,
right? I mean,
Entrepreneur Chamber. There we have it. Miss Sheri Jefferson. I mean, this has been such a excellent podcast episode number 12, and we were blessed by Miss Sheri Jefferson coming on and sharing some valuable, informative information with our members. Because when Sos and I got on this mission, the same thing like you were saying, it wasn't about money or anything like that. It was like Sos has a slogan that we use, and it's help empower us so we can help empower you. And I just think about that, like that's just 360 degrees. Like, so that was our whole mission. It was just about empowerment, and having somebody on like yourself, you just exemplify that and wanting to empower our community. And like you said, and another thing that stuck out to me, Sheri, and for the members of the Entrepreneur Chamber, was about this generational wealth. Because I remember speaking with a gentleman, his name was Reggie Wright, and he asked me a question, and he was saying, do you know your great grandfather? I was like, nah. He was like, you know why? I said, why? He was like, because he didn't leave you nothing. I said, I bet you if he would have left y'all some generational wealth, everybody at the dinner table would remember his name. So when you said building generational wealth, that's kind of what I thought about, and that's that legacy building. And one last question I wanted to ask you, and I just kind of thought about this as I was going to my closing remarks, and I apologize for going back to a question, but I wanted to ask you this. What's important to you, like a lifestyle business or a legacy business?
Legacy.